Okay, my pen has run dry, so it is time to pick out a new ink to ink it up with. Whatever ink is left is in the feed, so this is just residual that it's able to write with. That ink, by the way, is D'Artementis Charles Dickens, which I really enjoyed in this pen. This is the M400 with the cursive italic grind on it. So the two inks that I have to choose from are both Kyo No Oto inks, which are made in Kyoto, Japan, and they're both inspired by an element of the city. I very well may butcher these words, but number 9 is called Keshi Murasaki, and number 8 is Urahairo, something along those lines. I ended up going with number 9, which is the blue Keshi Murasaki, and I guess that was inspired by popular dyes that were used in textiles in Japan or in the city. And then the other color is actually inspired by a type of pottery from classical Japan. So anyways, here is my whole pen flushing process, which is usually done at my kitchen sink, but I wanted to kind of share it a little bit. And so here I have 3 different cups, and then I have the Goulet pen flush, which is actually diluted. So it's not that strong, but it is just enough to take the edge off, and it does make the flushes happen quicker. It does expedite the whole process, which is really nice, because otherwise it's just filling and dumping and filling and dumping until the ink or the water runs clear. And then I let it dry for a little bit. And now we fill the pen. My favorite part is coming up right now. So satisfying. I love that little ink drop on the rim of the glass. And then we get to test it out. And initially, when the feed is really saturated after being just inked, you don't see as much shading and it runs a little wetter, but the more you write with it, it dries out just a little bit. This is still a wet nib, and it is a ink that I think is wetter on the wetter side anyways. But as that feed kind of balances out a little bit, you see more shading, and the shading is really quite lovely. I like how crisp the lines are. It's a little bit grayer and lighter than I anticipated, but I really like this ink. I like the shade of it. I like the shading. I like it seems like it has a texture, like a chalky pastel texture. I don't know how else to describe that kind of matte finish, but I really appreciate it. You can see some of the shading, like on the D in shading, is really lovely. And that's it. And a plane is passing. Bye, everyone.